Good morning, friends and fellow traders. This is Doug Campbell with Right Way Options, coming to you with a morning market preparation video for July 11th, 2018. So, my goodness, this morning we have kind of a bearish look to the market, and although this was news generated, kind of a self-inflicted wound from the White House, we have clues in the charts that should have given you some caution on this market. First, the Dow has rallied about 1,000 points. You get 1,000-point rally in such a short period of time, and you should be thinking about a little bit of caution, a little bit of resistance. And we looking at the market here, we ran into some resistance very quickly here. We ran right up into this price resistance, and I talked about that yesterday. So there should have been a little bit of caution in the way you were trading with that resistance. Now, unfortunately, news like this, news events can happen at any time. We're actually a little bit lucky that we see this price resistance coming before that news came out and gave us a little reason for some caution. Unfortunately, the market's going to take a pretty solid hit this morning. Right now, futures are suggesting more than a 200-point gap down this morning, and looks like we're going to come back toward that 50-day moving average pretty fast here in that support level in the Dow. Let's hope now that that 50-day moving average and that bullishness can actually hold on as support. The last thing we want to see is another failure here that would take us all the way back down. So hopefully the accomplishments of this week, the bulls pushing us back up above that 50-day moving average, can be supported with a little bit of momentum here for the upside. So let's take a look at the SPY. The SPY was also approaching that resistance, and you can see we moved up here toward that resistance, and that resistance carries all the way back into here. And so we were getting some of those warnings to be a little bit cautious or careful. We've moved up an awful lot really fast, that a little bit of trouble could be coming, and doggone it, it just happens to come from the White House. So we're looking at a fairly substantial gap down here. This is our open here this morning, and looking for that pullback back toward this price support. Again, let's hope that that price support holds. Let's take a look at the Qs. The Qs have been incredibly strong, but we were reaching that point. You can see I've got my little pink line up here. That little pink line was actually an alert, and I was paying attention to that for a potential breakout. But you can see that we ran right up there, and we struggled all day long breaking through there. And that gave us a little bit of clue also that we were just reaching that point of resistance, that we had to be a little bit cautious, a little bit careful. And this morning, you can see we're gapping down into here, unfortunately. And we're looking for that pullback. Now, what I'm hoping for, since we broke through this level of resistance right here that carries all the way back, I'm hoping that this actually supports price and we can move up off of there. Remember, we have a big round of earnings coming Friday. The big banks really kind of kick off earnings, and so hopefully we'll start seeing some good earnings reports that will maybe change the market's focus from the trade war problems that we're having right now. But for now, the jitters are back, and we're going to want to watch that carefully. And let's take a look at IWM. IWM gave us a clue yesterday that there may be something going on here with a bearish engulfing candle, and what we ended up doing in Right Way Options, we took a short position, a put position on IWM about midday yesterday because of what was going on here. Now that's obviously going to pay us pretty well this morning. At the close yesterday, we were up 28% on that little put position that we took just to hedge our accounts. Now with this gap down this morning, there'll be a nice profit in that trade. And that's just watching price action and seeing that price, we were struggling here. We were having a problem, and I wasn't looking for any big move or anything like that. I was looking for, and this isn't powers of prediction either. This is simply following the price action. And I saw those warning signs in all the indexes, and IWM appeared to be the leader of that, resistance issue. And we just took a short position there on IWM that will pay off nicely this morning and hedge some of our pullback in other trades that we have. Let's take a look at the VIX. The VIX pulled back nicely and has been pulling back nicely. Now, a high probability that the VIX will pop up here today. A little bit of fear creeping into the market. So we can look for that move back up into here, and hopefully this will once again serve as that price resistance and prevent that from popping up and allowing that fear to get really, really strong in the market. That's hard to say because we know fear can really, like we saw over here, can really grow fast. So if there's more news, if China fires back with a whole bunch of new tariffs, who knows what could cause that, but we'll want to watch that fear. And remember, every time fear increases, that increases the prices of options because implied volatility moves up. So you'll want to watch that closely. VIX is one of those important indicators to pay attention to all the time and see what's going on with fear. So expect that pop up this morning in the VIX. We'll see if that turns into something extreme today or if it stays rather subdued. Let's take a quick look at T21. 22. Now T21 22 has been signaling for a couple of days the risk that we were reaching this bearish reversal zone. And you can see how consistent this is. We get clear up in here toward that 100 level, anywhere between 90 and 100 on this indicator. We get up in this zone and we can pretty much expect some kind of a pullback. Now, this is not predictive of what the White House is going to do, but we're just lucky in the sense that we were kind of prepared for that move because of the fact that we were running into resistance and we were showing that kind of overbought look in the market. I hate using the term overbought and oversold. I really do, because it implies a bias, and I don't want to be doing that. But when we see a market kind of overextend very, very quickly, that's something we have to think about, that we've just reached out too far. We've overdone it. And the markets always do that. We overdo one way or another, and we have to recognize that and be a little bit cautious when we're stretching out like that. And that's all that happened here, maybe just a little bit of a stretch out. So a little bit of a pullback was due anyway. Looks like the White House decided to kick that into high gear this morning, though, and make it happen all at once. So that's unfortunate, but that's the way this indicator works, is just giving us those clues of potential where we should exercise just a little bit of caution. And I had mentioned that yesterday. Let's go back here. On the economic calendar this morning, taking a look at that, we have the producer price information coming out. That's a market moving event, and PPI is expected to pull back just a tiny bit in its growth, meaning only increasing by 2% today is what the expectation is. They're just looking for a little bit of slowing in the growth, but PPI is expected to stay strong, and just pulling back ever so slightly in its growth. And then we have the petroleum status report at 10:30 today. That's the other market moving event. As you can see, we have a few other reports in here. We have a Fed speaker later on today, but none of those are expected to move the market. So kind of keep an eye on that PPI report and the EIA petroleum status numbers. On the earnings calendar, we only have 7 companies reporting earnings today, and the most notable would be Fastenal. Fastenal reporting first thing this morning, and you can see it's gapping way up here this morning on their report. And other than that, there are a few other reports, but nothing that I would think would be particularly market moving. So just Fastenal being the most notable of today. So watch all these earnings reports as we start moving toward earnings season. It's going to be very, very important that everybody is focusing in on when these companies report. If you happen to use TC2000, which is my charting platform, and by the way, I think it's one of the best platforms out there for charting. If you look right here, we've got you can actually set this up where it gives you the earnings date right here at the top of your chart, so you can always stay aware of earnings as they come along. So if everyone as you're progressing toward earnings season, you want to get into the habit of every day checking the earnings reports on stocks that you own and stocks that you're thinking about buying. You don't want to be caught flat-footed on an earnings report. With that, everyone, hey, I want to wish you all a fantastic day. I want to wish you great profits. And if this is the first time you've seen this information, please do me a favor and click on that subscribe button on YouTube. Follow me button on Facebook. Click those thumbs up buttons and drop a comment. I really do appreciate it. And also, always feel free to share this video with any friends and family that you might think could benefit from this information. Remember, there's no money made from these videos. I don't make a dime from these. These are just meant to try and help others look at the markets objectively and prepare for your trading day. Everyone, take care. Have a great day, and I'll see you right back here bright and early tomorrow morning. Take care.